Well, I think we are. Still spinning.
40 seconds.
Okay, it says we are. So, welcome everybody, and thank you for showing up. We literally are just chilling for tonight, but I've got to start getting into live streaming and practicing. I got a few things in the works that I've got planned, and for that, I'm going to have to start using things like StreamYard, things like this. So for tonight, this is the first time I'm just live streaming and just sitting here, and you know, whatever we all decide is going to happen, and that's it. So I really appreciate you coming, because I really need to get into this stuff. Live streaming is a big part of my future already, and a couple of the other channels that I manage are already doing a lot of it. So I know I got to get in the game. So I'm here with Kiera. Kristin's not feeling the best, so she is not going to come on the camera with us.
But I'm here.
But she's here with us. We hear a little bit, and we all have our phones. I figure this is what a living room party must look like now, where everybody just comes over and stares at their phones. So I figure, why don't we just all do it together then? And I keep forgetting how to get in and out of all my own stuff, just to make sure I've got my chat live. Oh, Kanisha, thank you for coming by. I've caught Kanisha on a few of her lives, and Kanisha uses one of the systems that I intend to be using, so it's nice to have you here. Also, I was just saying, we're just chilling, and a handful of you guys know each other. Yes, Green Organic Love, Kanisha Harry. I'm not sure if the Yo-Yo Diet Show is still here or not. They were here very early. I appreciate everybody coming. So Kristin's there, Kiera's there. Kristin is my girlfriend. Kiera is my BFF forever. Partner in crime for tonight, I guess you might call it. So, luckily I had a little bit of a, I don't know. Well, I gotta think about keeping the chat clean. So, we'll see. I'm just gonna wait it. I can't have that. Oh, yeah, guy. I managed to have I was going to say, I managed to have a little bit of a accomplished day. I managed to film 2 videos today, which I will put up probably on Tuesday, and I will save another one for about a month later. And it's pretty simple stuff. I happen to be very much into vinyl records, and I used to be a DJ, so I have tons of them, but I've been buying a lot of records lately. And it's a really big deal for a lot of people. There's a huge community out there. And so what I wanted to do with the videos I'm doing today is just show that people can reuse a lot of the content that they already have. So for each of the videos that I did today, I opened 5 records in each video. 4 of the records I'd already used in other videos, and then I added 1 new one to each video. And what this did was allow me to get 2 new videos out of, you know, almost stuff that I'd already done before. And I just want to be able to use a lot of my own stuff to show people how easy it is to make videos. Just put something on a table, talk about it for 10 minutes, and you're good. Oh, yeah, Green Organic Love, thank you. I put premieres a lot of the time. I just choose to, and a lot of that is experimentation, but this is actually like a live, because like I said, I got to get into doing live streaming, so we're just kind of chilling. So it's not anything, you know, high key. I don't expect a million people to come in here and start wanting to connect and stuff like that, like I hop into a lot of other lives and see that that's happening. Really don't know what to expect, but we're just chilling. So Kiera's birthday is tomorrow, so we're just kind of taking it easy for tonight. Oh, actually, sorry, Kiera's already had her birthday, but we have an extravaganza happening at my family's house for her tomorrow. So we're just kind of taking it easy tonight, so that tomorrow's going to be a big day. We live in Niagara Falls, but my parents are in Toronto, where I grew up and this and that. So we're going to drive up there, and it's almost 2 hours, not quite. So it's a bit of a drive on the way. We're going to have a nice day together, and then it's a bit of a drive back. So it's best that we just kind of relax, chill, and it's a good chance for me to get some practice doing the live streaming that I know you guys have already done so much of. Kanisha, I even saw you were on today, and I didn't come on because I was filming. So there you go, Kiera. Kanisha is wishing you a happy birthday. You can respond on the text while I punch you in the leg.
That's not nice.
Kiera's my BFF forever. So we are often found running around the house punching each other and acting very violently.
He's not wrong.
But she's almost as tall as me, not quite, so she can handle herself, and you don't have anything to worry about there. So, thanks, Green Organic Love. Yeah, we're just, like I said, kind of chilling for today.
Okay.
And then tomorrow's a big day. And who's hopping in here with us? Sushi Man's World, thank you. That's a relatively new connection for me, so thank you for coming by. We're just chilling tonight. You're asking how are we? Always good, always, and tonight as well. Yeah, I'm pooing says working hard down on Rexdale Boulevard. That's the Jellystone song. That's ever so famous. Love that Canadian content. Oh yeah, Tesla Cybertruck. I don't know how many people have bought those, but apparently it can tow my Ford F-150 around. So I'm not going to be looking forward to running into those anytime soon. So the Yo-Yo Diet Show, I don't know if you left and came back or if you've been here the whole time, but thank you. We're good. We're just chilling. We're just relaxing. And I'm testing out live streaming. I'll stay on for a while tonight, but I haven't live streamed before. And I knew that Kiera was going to want to spill her water all over the place today, so I figured it's better if she does it with an audience. So we were just going to sit around with our phones anyway, so we figured we might as well sit around with our phones with a bunch of other people as well. We'll all do it. That's the way now. Oh, no, I know it looks that way. So, I'm Pooing is actually a lifelong friend of mine for like 20 years. But the way I typically behave that you all don't see when I'm in the confines of my friends and family and stuff like that can be a little less professional, let's say, than what I typically do online. So, yeah, I'm Pooing. For instance, Jello says hi. So Jello is my friend. His name is Frank, but his dog. He's got a cute little tiny puppy, and I haven't seen her in a while, so she wouldn't be a puppy anymore. Kiera loves puppies. Kiera is intending on becoming a vet, so we talk about that all the time. Kiera's my stepdaughter, for argument's sake. We all live together, my girlfriend, my stepdaughter, and myself. She intends on becoming a vet, so luckily there are cats around here all the time. And no puppies right now.
Don't leave. No, you're not allowed to leave.
There you go. She managed to get one for herself.
How rude.
Okay. But Kanisha, I appreciate you noticing, though. This is the nicest thing. So I know I'm obsessed with YouTube and I go on about it all the time, and I'm on all day and night. I'm very lucky because more than half of my full-time job is actually working on YouTube stuff. I manage a few channels professionally anyway, but I get to hop around windows and do my own thing as well. So I love this stuff, but it's really nice because I managed to have weaseled my way into a community of really great people who are all looking out for each other. and Kenesha. So I appreciate again what, like, you know, you noticing that something might be a little bit off, but at least you give me the chance to have a look if I hadn't noticed myself, because I can see you guys are more experienced with live streaming than I am, but you can get really wrapped up in what you're talking about and miss the chat for a little bit, and a few things can happen while you're not paying attention to the chat so intently. But there's a nice group of people that seem to be helping each other. Like one of my friends now that I've connected with and talked to almost every day put up a video today and didn't have the comments enabled. And I just happened to notice. I was lucky. I just happened to be there less than an hour, I think, after she put it out or whatever, and was able to tell her right away, so she's able to flip the switch and get the comments back on. But you don't know how many views you're going to get even in the first few hours, and you're going to miss out on those comments. It's all very important to all of us. You know, as we're growing our channels, all of this stuff really affects the algorithms. So Kiera, for instance, Kiera, do me a favor, just say something in the chat so everybody can connect with you if they want to. So Kiera has her own YouTube channel, but she just puts up stuff once in a while. One of the things that I've done that most of you have probably seen is my flight lessons. They're my best performing videos. So if you've been by the channel itself at all, or you might have heard me talk about it on other live streams. So Kiera's done the same. She came up to the flight school with me. She actually got a chance to fly the plane, and that's one of her videos. Did we put up both of your flight? Do you have two flight videos?
Yes, I do.
So if I'm right, Kiera has 2 flight videos, as well as 2 other videos where she's dealing with vinyl records, like I was just talking about. She got a few birthday presents last year. But if you guys wanted to check out her channel, she's not taking it quite as seriously as we all are right yet. But what I'm trying to do is help her prepare so that when she does want to start moving a little more aggressively, it'll be easier for her than it was for us, kind of thing. So Sushi Man's World, thank you for mentioning yes. If everybody wouldn't mind giving the video a thumbs up, because it helps the algorithm, helps us move, and hopefully a few more people will see it. Maybe we'll get a couple people in here. And I'm just scanning through the chat. Group 1 in Lithuania. Alright, I appreciate you telling me, but I'm a little bit out of the zone. I'll have to look that up after. So like I said, we're for the most part just chilling. But I've been, you know, at YouTube a lot. What'd you even do all day, Kiera?
I went outside. Came shopping with me. Oh, I did. I came shopping with Mom.
You better just speak up a little bit and towards the mic so everybody can hear you. So you went outside for a while. You went shopping.
Yeah.
You played
Again.
uncomfortably violent video games. The kind of things that
The one you taught me to play.
the kind of things that some of my friends probably don't allow their 14-year-old daughters and stepdaughters and nieces and things to play. But
She's been playing since she was 10.
Or the end of
oh, isn't that
9.
right around the
I was
time that
9.
we met? Yeah,
Mhm.
right around the time that we
Yeah, I
met.
think I
Here
was
started
9.
getting into this. Well, the reason why, so I have my own children. Like, so I have a son, I have a niece and a nephew, and you know, they're almost grown. My niece is in high school. My son and my nephew are grown, but we've been playing Grand Theft Auto from the beginning, since they were children and this and that. And you know, we just, I guess, try to stay away from the inappropriate parts. But I call that the only game that matters. I've given that company more money than any other video game company. I have bought Xboxes. I've repaired them, like had them repaired. I've replaced them. We have this unreasonable connection. I even bought one version of Grand Theft Auto twice by mistake because I forgot that I had it. Because I needed it for computer, I have it for PlayStation, for Xbox, and everything else. And don't get me wrong, it's not like we have Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4s and all this stuff all over the place. We usually have one of each around. But it's been so many years now that we have this collection of older consoles and stuff like that. But Kiera's into, what's the other game? You have 2 other games that you play regularly.
Red Dead
Aside
Redemption.
from Minecraft, I'm not thinking of Minecraft.
Red Dead Redemption and Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
That's it.
Yeah, speak louder here.
Of Dig Dug, so you know what? Oh, yes, of course. I'm scanning the chat to be asked if I like Dig Dug, but I have the game. I have one of those video game tabletops that two people can sit across and play Pac-Man and Dig Dug and Donkey Kong and all that stuff. So of course, so Frank and I'm pooing as his alias here, is Frank and I have known each other. It's well beyond 20 years now, but he also has these video games. So we used to sit in the apartment and play Dig Dug constantly. So let's talk about it. Thanks for coming in. Ria's Design, thanks for coming in. I see, it's nice to see you. Best moderator on YouTube. Don't tell Melanie I said that, but I see. It's nice to see you here. So we're just kind of chilling. I'm just yapping. It's so nice for me because, you know, I said I want to come on and just do a simple live, and just because I got to see what it's like. In the next few days or next week, I'm going to start trying to use StreamYard. But for tonight, I just wanted to go in the back of YouTube, see what it's like, because we haven't done that yet. Even on the channels that I manage, the guys are using their phones, and I'm just moderating on a PC. So we're just chilling, but it's very nice that so many people are here. Almost everybody in the chat knows each other already. I'm assuming you're all connected. So for those of you who even know what I'm talking about, feel free, of course, to connect with anybody else here, because almost everybody in the chat, this is how I've met, with the exception only of a couple personal friends who are here, and then Kristin and Kiera. You should keep chatting once in a while, like just drop a note in, so that people, I see you're still in there, but just so that people know who I'm talking about, and then they can subscribe to your channel if they want to. So I'm pooing says he's upgraded to a new machine. So what we're talking about is these video games. So he got into it more than me. I wanted to do it my whole life. I wanted to be that guy with the video games. I spent all my money when I was a teenager. I always worked, but I spent so much money in the arcades and stuff like this. I always wanted so badly to have my own video game. So finally I do, but Frank did it long before I did. So he has the tabletop. And then he also had a couple of these ones. If you've ever been to a bar or restaurant, they have it on the tabletop. And they actually have games that if you've ever played these things, so you pop in, like in Canada, we have $1 and $2 coins, loonies and toonies we call them. It comes from the fact that the loonie has a picture of a loon on it. But anyway, so our $1 and $2 coins, you can put these into a video game and play 3 or 4 games. And they had games that were similar to things like Angry Birds long before Angry Birds ever existed. And I know I'm aging myself even there saying Angry Birds, because does anybody even remember Angry Birds? I don't know if we all have it. Even Kiera knows it. Okay, so maybe it's not as old as I think it is. So I don't know if I have usually any pork rinds. Actually, yes, I have really been eating myself into oblivion over the last several months, so I'm going to have to do something about that. Oh, Junior VI guy's in the house. Bill's here.
Oh.
Yeah. So for those of you, actually this is a perfect opportunity. For those of you who have any interest at all in the fact, like I was talking about our flight lesson videos, so Junior VI guy is my flight instructor. So I'm happy that he's hopped into the chat. I really wasn't expecting that. Well, and then, yeah, he remembers some video games that are a little less popular as well. So, and not to mention Frank and Bill know each other, so it's nice because there's so many people in the chat that know each other. It's almost like a couple of different communities going on here. But that's really all the story is for today. Like I said, I tried to make a productive day out of it. I filmed a couple of videos. We got to get Kiera filming some more. We're thinking about doing some stuff tomorrow. We're thinking about the possibility of having her go live during her birthday, but we'll wait until the morning and see how we all feel about it. to see if she's going to do that. If we do, she'll just do it on her own channel. While we drive, I might try going live on my phone. Now, I don't have 1,000 subscribers on my personal channel, but I'm going to use either Prism or Streamlabs or whatever else I can find. Apparently, Prism is going to be okay. Streamlabs should be able to do it. Apparently, you can stream from your phone with less than 1,000. So we'll find out pretty quick. So, Ball Life, thanks for coming by. And forgive me, let me remind everybody, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. I think the comments are already on the video if you guys want to drop a comment, but I'm not sure. But you do that at your own discretion if you feel like it. As we all know, everything helps. It all helps the algorithm. It helps the video move a little bit farther after. I can hear myself dominating the conversation like I always do. This is the problem with live streaming. I know there's like a limit of 12 hours, but I could keep talking for long over 12 hours, I'm sure. And so, Bill, we were just talking about the fact that Kiera's channel, she's already got her first 2 flight videos. Bill's got, like, the last I counted was like 60 or something. All kinds of, like, people taking this thing. It's a really great experience for those of you who thought ever about flying a small, 2-seater ultralight plane. It's an unbelievable experience. But luckily, we've been able to do it. We use GoPros and make videos. Bill does it for you if you happen to, have to be in Ontario and fly with him. But they make fantastic videos for the channel because they're engaging. So let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, Yo-Yo Diet Show, thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you coming by to support. Like I said, we're just doing a low-key, it's a chill out session kind of thing, so it's not a big monster party or anything like that. I'm not expecting too much in the way of action or activity, but like I said, I've got to get myself used to live streaming, and I really appreciate the fact that so many people have come by already, because as you guys know, the support that everybody gives each other means the world. So it's tough too, because we're all on, and as everybody's growing, as a matter of fact, on my personal channel, I have less subscribers than most of all of you. And forgive me for grouping everybody together. It's just that since I've come into the community, I'm growing too, and I see that everybody is. But I can see how you all must be overwhelmed, as I'm starting to be, because you can't be there for everybody every minute. So I find myself hopping into 3 or 4 different lives a day sometimes, and sometimes I can only do it for 15 minutes. Or occasionally I'll do something like I'll hop onto a live if I know I'm leaving the house, and I'll just let it run, because it doesn't matter to me. I've usually got, the computer can run all the time, I'm on it all day, and I've got a tablet beside me, so I let these things go.
Kevin, did you say low key
Oh dear.
or low key?
It is. So, because Kiera's name is Kiera, now that she's a little bit older, she doesn't mind it so much when I antagonize her about her name being a key.
You don't antagonize her. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Kevin?
I know, I'm not sounding like myself.
You're not
It
that type of person.
couldn't be possible that I'd antagonize anybody. There's no way. So forgive me, I'm just catching up to chat. Oh, Kenesha, thank you so much. I really appreciate you even coming by. So, even the support you've given me is much appreciated. So thank you. So what did we... Oh, what am I missing here? Pork rinds, yeah. Oh, thank you, Ball Life. Yeah, I used to be a DJ. So, for many, many, many years. I only stopped a few years ago. But I did a lot of stuff. I was very lucky because I had a bit of an easy way up. I was in the right place at the right time. a brand new radio station came into Toronto right at the time that I was at. It's just a perfect moment for me. And from there came a bunch of record label work. And this is why I'm able to have all that music on my channel. So half of it, probably, I think there's 35 songs so far. Half of it is copyright in the way that the artists get paid. I will never get paid, but it doesn't matter because I get paid to do those 15 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever it was anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm happy to even be able to have them up. And then the other half are, let's say, things that aren't claimed because the artists, like, we're here today, gone tomorrow, and this and that. So the good news is I get paid for those again, probably. But that was all work that I had done so long ago. I'm just a pack rat. I have hard drives and hard drives full of all the work I've done over almost my entire adult life. So I was able to grab those remixes and songs and put them all up. So some of it is not the most popular stuff in the world, but I appreciate your kind words saying, you know, you like it. I'm sure there's a little bit for everybody in there. There's some stuff that I couldn't put up, like some hip-hop stuff. There was a track by a group called Biff Naked, and they've got their stuff blocked. I can't use that. Not that it matters. Who cares about one song or two songs when you got like 35 up there? But it's just something that was lucky that I was able to put, and this is what I was doing with my personal channel over the last year before I started getting serious and figuring out what I wanted to do for myself. Because, like I keep saying, and most of you know, I manage a few channels professionally, and with my own, I just flooded it with all those old remixes and stuff like that. So it gave me a chance to have a video a week coming out. I've got this base material, and because it's all somewhat popular music, that stuff should get eventually thousands, if not tens of thousands of hits over their lifetime. So they'll just add to the channel as things that can bring in a lot of views, I hope, and some subscribers. But
we met. The first time we met is when you started at the one radio station.
I don't know how much you guys can hear. I'm testing out a mic, actually, that I've been using in my videos lately that was given to me as a Christmas present by my nephew. But Kristin is just reminding me, so we had, like, you know, we're together now. We've been dating for several years. We lived together and everything else. But we actually dated well over 20 years ago. But it was when I was working at this radio station that I mentioned not too long ago. Kristin is from a town called Shelburne, which is in the central north. Well, it's not too north, but it's about an hour to an hour and a half north of Toronto, and outside of a little bit of a bigger city called Orangeville. That's a little more well known. The radio station was in Orangeville officially. It's now moved to Toronto. It moved to Toronto a long time ago. But we just happened to meet, and she lived like just close. So what happened? We started dating, and it kind of was convenient because I would have to go to work at this radio station. I lived in Toronto, but I would go and work in this place, Orangeville. But I'd be able to see her for the weekend, or I would bring her with me. I drove, and you know we were fairly young, but she'd come with me in Toronto for the weekend. Didn't matter because I'm always going back up there for work. But it's very interesting that, you know, we dated like so long ago and then reconnected just because I stalked her on Facebook and it worked out, and it's a very romantic story. So hopefully I've touched you all in a deep way today. So forgive me, I'm just hopping through the thing. Sorry, Virgo, I didn't even say hello to you yet, but I really appreciate you coming by. Yeah, it's so nice that there's a handful of people who all know each other. Daddy Joe is another fairly new connection for me, so I really appreciate you coming by. Ball Life, you're right. Some of the stuff is popular music. I'm probably downplaying it a little bit because when I was working on music, I was focused on a few specific genres, and that is the bulk of the work that's been out there. I was lucky, so forgive me because I don't want to get into like it's not embellishing. I'm trying to think of what the word is that I'm looking for. Anyway, I did accomplish a few things. I've got a lot of CDs out. There's probably 500,000, and that's not my fault. I just happened to get included on a couple of good projects and a lot of small and mediocre projects and stuff like that. But over the course, while I was there, I did a handful of work, and I was lucky to work in almost all popular genres of music. So there's a bit of a diverse collection. Some stuff that's useful. So this is forgive me for jumping out of my chair, literally. So Michael Kaufman, who you see has just entered the chat, is a dear friend of mine as well, and I'm very lucky because he was with me for a lot of the height in my DJing career, just because I've been talking about it a little bit. He came with me. We would go together. He was an investor in some of the parties that I was doing with a promoter that would have me DJing kind of all over the northeastern United States. Michael just ordered a Tesla truck. Now, I haven't been following enough to know if that's coming in, so forgive me, but Michael, if you don't mind, just let everybody know in the chat. He's obviously a personal friend of mine. If you don't mind, let us know what's happening with that Cybertruck, because somebody mentioned it today, and I said, yeah, your Cybertruck could probably pull my Ford F-150 around. So I'm just curious if you've got news on when you're expecting to get that, or if you've already got it, because I haven't been following. I don't know the news on that. So Bernardo, thank you for coming in. We're just kind of chilling for tonight. Everybody's kind of just listening to me. Yeah. Kiera's getting the worst of it because she's getting a full earful here.
We're not just chilling, we're chilling like villains. You gotta remember that. You gotta say that.
It is.
Because the people need to know.
I am at all times chilling like a villain.
They need to know.
So forgive me, I'm scanning through the, trying to scan through the chat on the phone as well as it's a little bit easier than leaning in everybody's face there. It doesn't want to work nicely for me, so I'll just do this again. So, late 2021 or 2022. I didn't know. I wondered if there was going to be any kind of delay. I wonder if everybody in the chat, forgive me, I didn't even stop to think of this. Wonder if everybody's seen the Cybertruck. So, I know it's big news. It's big news for me because I happen to, like Elon Musk and stuff like that, like to a point, whatever. I'm fascinated with tech, but a lot of it I just kind of let fly by me. I'm like, oh, okay, they've made this like truck that looks like it should have been Back to the Future, but wow, that's crazy. And I haven't been following so closely. But yeah, it's too bad that you gotta wait. But I have a feeling that that is going to be so unbelievably worth it. You have to be excited. That Tesla Cybertruck is really something. Everybody says it looks like a spaceship, so it's nice that you got that. So extreme sport aviation, I see. So my flight instructor swapped into the flight school account. So extreme sport aviation is actually the channel of the flight school where I took my flight lessons, or where I'm taking my flight lessons. So if you guys, anybody wanted information about that, that's the channel to subscribe to and the guy to talk to. So, Bernardo, thank you for giving me a count. I wasn't even looking, but 14 thumbs up is actually good times. Pre-production on the truck. Yeah, Mike. I don't want to. I think about those parties all the time. I was very fortunate to have been able to get down there and do that stuff. But there are a lot of really, you don't even need to tell you there's a lot of good people all over the place. Of course there is. But there are a lot of good people in a lot of different areas. Now, I only ever really went through the northeastern United States like I was talking about. anywhere you could drive to, no flights. I'm not one of those DJs that makes $100,000 a night and they fly you everywhere and I play in Vegas every Saturday. There's none of that. But I did manage to play every major city probably in the Northeast, everywhere from as far as Green Bay in Chicago down to Pittsburgh, Toledo, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Spent a lot of time in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, all the way up and down that artery and across 90 all the way to Boston, every major city on the way over to Boston and down towards New York. So that was really exciting, and I'm very thankful to have met tons of great people. But Michael Kaufman in the chat here with us was with me for a lot of that time. And so we just happened to share a lot of great memories. And it's kind of surprising, but during the time that was at its height, I was playing a lot of hip-hop because it was just, there was a big hip-hop movement. Jim Jones had just come out, that was key. Michael Kaufman turned me on to, was it Lil Wayne? I think it was Lil Wayne that he had a mixtape of. It was something that, as far as I understand, was not released. Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But him and me and a couple of guys took a trip. We had to do the run out to Boston, and we did Providence and Hartford. And I remember this album, and it gave me a respect for Lil Wayne as an artist, if I'm right. I hope it was Lil Wayne. I hope I'm not making a mistake there. But there are, other people who came out of that, like Kendrick Lamar is somebody who I ended up liking after. And I'm not typically a hip-hop guy. Even for myself, music has gone through a lot of different motions. In around the year 1990-91, when Arsenio Hall had his television show, and I was just becoming a DJ, I was playing all hip-hop, because that's all there was. So Naughty by Nature, Das Effects, I'm trying to think, Crisscross is the one that comes to mind because he was on the Arsenio Hall show that they broke. And forgive me, Kiera doesn't know, I don't know how much you know about what I'm talking about, these artists.
I know a few of them.
But I ended up becoming more of a top 40 DJ after. Everything with me was kind of the cheese and the fluff. But then I'm what you would consider your typical Saturday night. Go to any bar on a Saturday night, whatever the DJ's playing is basically the same thing. But there have been waves, and when we were doing these things in the States, there was a lot of hip-hop that was being played as well. That song Black and Yellow from like 10 years ago, I hear it almost every day still. And that was a big thing. Kiera and I were just listening to that. I found not too long ago a couple of mixes from a radio show I did here in Toronto only a few years ago, because sometimes the DJs are playing in a nightclub and they broadcast the nightclub on the radio, and we had some of that, so we were listening to some. And I've always been one of the guys who plays for a little bit of an older crowd than typical, so I'm usually not the guy who's targeting the 18 to 24-year-olds. I'm usually the guy who's targeting the 30-plus crowd. So my music is usually diverse and a lot of what you would either call old or classic stuff. But anyway, Ball Life, I appreciate you letting me go on and on and on yapping about this today. So you're watching the chat, Kiera? Because a couple people are saying hello to you. Oh, okay. So there's a couple people in the chat who aren't going to know quite yet. They haven't been involved in the growth networks and the things that we do when we're connecting to one another for subscribers. So, for instance, Extreme Sport Aviation. When Bernardo says done to you, what he's talking about is he's subscribed to your channel. He's hopefully watched a video, left a genuine comment, and given you a like of some sort. And he's kind of expecting you to do the same. So you certainly don't have to. If you feel like connecting with anybody in the chat, I'm sure everybody's going to be open to it. So feel free to connect with each other if you want to and feel each other out. Bernardo, this particular chat isn't this particular live stream isn't quite a growth network. I'm not really aiming for that today. So just please be patient with people, because a couple of the people in the chat are not used to the things that people like you and I might be doing every day, hustling to get our grind on and increase our subscribers and network with people and swap playlists and things like that. So just a word of warning, not everybody in the chat today is going to be into that, so just be patient. Some of the people won't know what you mean if you're talking about connecting. If you say things like, I've been to your house and I left footprints there, most of us know what that means, but not all of us. And for those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, so there are these things on YouTube now, and it's not just growth networks, but there's little communities of people who are building these channels to become small businesses. And, you know, me, of course I'm doing this. And what ends up happening is there are a lot of really good people on YouTube that are in what you might classify as small YouTubers. It's just, I would consider that any channel with under 10,000 subscribers. And one thing that can really help is when you network with each other, you can, it's almost like everybody wants to pull each other along, right? Not everybody, because, you know, there's some people who are going to come and go and they don't really care about others as much as they care about themselves. But there's a lot of people who care about other people, maybe even more so than their own. It's very obvious to me that, you know, on YouTube, as much as a lot of other things in life, if you give more than you ever expect to receive, and you are okay with that, you're going to end up getting what you want anyway. So luckily, I've been connected to a lot of people, really good people, and some of those people are here in the chat today. And I'm fortunate, first of all, like, the whole reason they're here, I would assume, is to support me in the fact that they know that I'm trying to build, I'm trying to grow. As I've said after I got on here, you know, trying to practice with the live stream and this and that. But this is a big community. So for those of us who have channels, who are thinking about turning them into either businesses or income streams, this is a good way to get that happening by connecting with other like-minded people. And then you can, it's not sub for sub, which is another different thing. And I'm new at explaining it, so forgive me while I dance around my words here. But sub for sub is against the rules of YouTube, and you can get your channel shut down and everything else. And I know I'm going on more about it than I need to. But that's not what I'm talking about, where people just go out. There's places you can buy likes, and you can buy views, and you can buy subscribers, and, you know, they're just as much scams as everything else. But what you can do in a way to try to accelerate and just move faster than you otherwise would have is connect with other people who are doing the same thing as you. Maybe do some collaborations, maybe hop into their videos. And a lot of people, as they start to become, let's say, friends, they start to trade favors. So for instance, you might need some watch hours because of YouTube's rules and regulations regarding being accepted into the partner program and getting paid for your views from AdSense and other methods. You might have a playlist of videos, and then what I might do is I might say, hey, I'll do you a favor, I'll run your playlist and you can run my playlist. And it's easy for somebody like me because I have a tablet sitting beside me all day that otherwise would do nothing. So I can run somebody's playlist. And what that does, if you can imagine, if they've got a 3-hour playlist, I just gave them 3 hours. You need 4,000 to even think about getting paid. So it can really help, you know, and people are trading favors like this all the time. So, forgive me, I'm just scanning the chat here. I haven't seen anything too out of control. Oh, I'll let, well, okay, forgive me. I'll just hop in with you because I noticed Bernardo's just asking you. I imagine he's asking, I don't see any videos on your channel. IC is not a content creator yet, but she's very much a part of the community and often a moderator. I see her all the time. She's somebody who certainly knows the rules and all this stuff that I've been yapping about for the last 5 minutes. She is one of the people who has taught me. As I only started getting into these communities a couple of months ago, IC has been a great help in that. So if the day comes that IC starts doing some content production, she will already be well ahead of everybody. I don't know how many subscribers IC you have right now, but IC is definitely a great person, what I'm talking about, to connect with in these communities, because she's so knowledgeable and she can help and guide, as she's been able to do with me. I used to make a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of rules. There's things about spam and this and that. So, Psych Lee, thanks for coming by. I see it's your first time. Fred says, it's nice to see you. Thank you. A handful of you guys already know each other. So, Bob's in the house. Robert Ratusny. Yes, Red Rat. I never got around to making any remixes of Red Rat. So, I don't know how much I really have to talk about that. I can't remember if we put that on any of the bootleg albums. Forgot about this. So my friend Frank there, I'm pooing, has, we did a couple of bootleg mixtapes, if you want to call it that, CDs really, in around the year 2000 or so. And those were 100% hip-hop based. I don't think we got Red Rat on any of the albums, but something else. Oh, okay. Thank you, Princess. Yeah, we're just kind of low-key chilling, and everybody's listening to me yap a mile a minute and talk about things, and Kiera's kind of amused.
I'm okay now.
Kiera's got a birthday happening tomorrow. So her birthday actually happened already, but her celebration with my family is going to be tomorrow. So that's why we're kind of just chilling for today. Tomorrow's a long day for us, a big day, especially for her.
Hi.
So we're kind of just chilling out. So we've got all Kiera's presents. Actually, here, let's torture her for a
You're
second.
gonna taunt me now, eh? Okay, I see how it is. Ow! I see how it is.
We've got a bunch of presents for Kiera right here that
I cannot open during the night, even though I might try to anyway.
she's had to stare at these for a couple of days now and have to sit there wondering what's in them and not be able to open them.
Or will
So,
I?
I think that's kind of amusing.
I will use all of. Was it Grandma who used her secrets to wrap presents and then wrap? No. Oh no, that was Grandma.
Oh, we all did.
Yeah.
Open your presents when your parents aren't around and take the boxes out carefully and then put them back later so nobody knows, and then you know what all your presents are. And the funny thing is, then so Kiera's not the type to do this.
What?
My father used to come into my room, so we'd have, when I was a teenager, have Nintendo. We would have Christmas, and my parents would get me a couple like cartridges for my Nintendo, let's say, whatever. And he walks in the room one day and says to me, "Wow, you're really good at that game, considering you've only been playing it for half an hour." Because he knows, of course, I broke into my presents and was playing it for 2 weeks before. Well, oh, Liz, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. We're just kind of chilling. So, one of the jokes that Bob and Poohin are talking about right now, in around the year 2000, I rented an office for a while. I used to do websites professionally. I still do, but I was doing it really hardcore for a little while. And I had an office, and I am very picky about everything. I don't like anything. I have no sense of style or anything like that. If it wasn't for a record label giving me a free t-shirt, I don't know what I'd do. But I rented this office, and I couldn't for the life of me decide what to do. I took my friends and said, "Can you help me? We'll go and figure out how to decorate my office." Went to IKEA, made those guys walk around there for hours. Came back, said, "I don't like anything. I don't want to buy anything." And then my friend's like, "Okay, just paint it blue." And so I literally registered a company called Blue Walls Studio, because that's what it was. And it's even still credited on one of the albums that I'd made. For those of you who have CDs left, it's possible that there are a couple of Canadians who actually have a CD that would say Blue Wall Studio on it.
I'm gonna go find cat and make it
So, yeah, I'm surprised we managed to get into a couple of different topics here. I wasn't expecting. And talking about the Nintendo, I understand that around March, which I guess is not too long from now, another one of those video games is supposed to be coming out. So I don't know how many people are here who are so much into video games, but all those classic consoles started coming out. So there's Atari, there's Sega, there's Nintendo, there's PlayStation. I had a couple of them.
That's rude.
It's nice when the cats just start crawling all over people. But I understand that the TurboGrafx 16 is coming out in March. And that's another one. So for those of you who care, I will probably want it because I want all of them. I've even put... Actually, Kiera did one of the video games with me on... did we do it on each... No, we only did it on my channel. Kiera's got a bunch of video game footage, especially from Minecraft, that I've got on a laptop that now has a broken graphics card, and I haven't been able to get the files off, but they're sitting there. I'll get them. When I do, she'll have a couple of Minecraft gameplay videos on her channel as well. But she did do a video game with me, Street Fighter. So I think that was the first video game video that I put up. Now, I was shocked because when I put those up, I thought the video game videos were going to do well just because they're video games. And this is one of those things that like shows you when we're talking about like our YouTube channels, you really never know what is going to work and what isn't. I mean, maybe you have a better idea than me of just hooking up a Nintendo and making a game for 10 minutes. It's not like really rocket science to do that, but I expected it to do a lot better. If you'd asked me how well my flight lesson videos would have done, I would have said, well, I really don't know, you know, but those happen to be the best performing ones. I might have lost the bet on that, you know, I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, I managed to get a handful of, so I got to ask you guys to do me a favor. I'll just time them out. I can't have spam in the chat because I know you guys don't understand, but I actually take this seriously, and you're going to have me in trouble.
No spam in chat.
Okay, thanks, Bernardo. Bernardo. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate you hanging out. So, Shiketi, hey, thanks for coming by. We're just kind of chilling. It's a low-key night. We're just kind of yapping whatever pops into all of our heads and just taking it easy for today. I'm dominating the conversation, but Kiera has a birthday tomorrow that she's resting up for. So we have a nice party.
I have to practice my TikTok dances.
Yes, as a matter of fact, so Kiera will, not too long from now, likely end up having a TikTok account because the last time we were all together, she did a TikTok video, her first one, with my niece. So my niece already does a bunch of TikTok. I still haven't got on that yet. I preach to everybody every day, you must get TikTok now. Don't wait a year because you want a good name. You got to get it now. And you got to start producing content for TikTok. So luckily she's done farther than me. I'm trying to figure out how I can take my music stuff and chop it up. I got a couple ideas. I'm hoping I'm not going to have to sing and dance because I don't know if that's going to do anybody any justice. Let's see. Let me just see if I manage to lose 90% of the people in the chat. Yeah. So Shiketi, you can let me know what's happening with you. And let me see what else we got going on here. When you hop up into the participants, you can see who's here. Bernardo's here. Everybody else is in timeout. Has Nightbot been coming around? So I'm trying out the Nightbot spam robot too for the chat. Yeah, Nightbot is a robot that comes through and it can help with moderating the chat, or it can, I've got it on a timer where it should be coming by telling everybody to,
No spam.
oh, did I delete? I might have deleted Frank. I meant to put him in timeout. The problem is when you're clicking stuff, you might accidentally slip and click the wrong thing. It's okay, I can get it back. I'll go through my stuff and see. Oh. Alright, let's just see. I'm just scanning the chat. Forgive me, everybody. I just put a few people to rest for a second.
I was quite confused.
What's that? You were confused about it. Oh, Red Rat is a reggae artist. It's he's got this song, and in his song he goes, "Oh no," and it's kind of like it's very well known. When we used to play that song, or one of his songs where he does that, you know it's him right away. Sometimes there's a song or an artist that just comes on, and the second you hear them, the dance floor packs, people go running, everybody goes crazy, and Red Rat. That was one of those songs for people who like reggae or people who like Red Rat. If you played that song, they went crazy. So my friends are kind of joking around, reminding me of that. Okay, Liz, thanks for the tip. I just knocked a couple of people out for a few seconds. They're just friends of mine, but they don't understand. They're just playing around with me a little bit. It's not trolling or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about it. Did you get one of the people saying hello to you? See how your name comes up orange in the chat?
Oops.
That's because, so you see what you did. See how Liz just put, forgive me everybody, I'm just teaching Kiera about this stuff. As I start to live stream more, I have Kiera learn to moderate as well. And then I'm going to moderate for her when she does. So, see how she put the @ symbol? So as soon as you put an @ symbol and about 2 letters, it pops the name up for you. But then it specifically mentions you, and then it does that orange thing. And that's so that while you're reading the chat, you can quickly scan through and see if anybody's talked to you. Because if you got to, like, walk away, you're watching somebody live and you got to walk away for a few minutes, you can come back and not be worried about having missed anything. So it's good. It's nice that they do that. So you should say hello back to.
I did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Say hi.
Yeah, good. Okay.
It's a hit.
Yeah, Liz. Kiera is, for argument's sake, my stepdaughter. We live together. Kristin and I, her mom, we've been dating for a long time now, and we all live together. So Kiera has got she's got a channel, and she's got a few videos already on there that are worth checking out, of course. And then we're hoping that we can help her get into like serious mode building her channel in the not too distant future. So she hasn't gotten involved quite yet with the networking and stuff like that we do. But if you wanted to subscribe to her, absolutely, and then I'll be instructing her on how to return the love, as we like to call it. Oh, no, so yeah, so Liz, so this is my stepdaughter. Yeah, she's 14 now. So she looks older than she is, but she's 14. But it's my girlfriend's daughter. So we're helping her out with her channel, but she's not quite there yet with the networking yet. So Liz, thank you very much. My girlfriend might be on. She wasn't feeling well, so she kind of she may have left the room. I don't know if she's still on the chat or not, but yeah, she's here with us anyway. So I really appreciate you spending so much time with me. You know, I have ended up so busy in the last couple of days, and on Thursday night, Vernus was live again, and I couldn't believe she actually went for quite a while. I can't recall if she usually goes over 3 hours or not. I think it was more like 3.5 hours or something. I took off that night and went to a hockey game, so I was lucky because she was already on. So I didn't go to a hockey game. I went to a bar to watch a hockey game, but I let it run while I was gone, and I was so surprised that she was back. But it's funny because you know now how often I've been around in Vernus lives, especially for game night. Bring your brains, and I really enjoy that because I'm very lucky in that half of my full-time job is YouTube as it is, but I'm on a computer working and processing video files like all the time. So I'm able to hop through windows so I can still be doing my own thing, and I can be like, you know, on a couple of lives, or I can be taking part in the games and stuff like that while I work, or at least while the computer processes. That's why I'm able to be around once in a while. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm starting to get to the point that I like miss it when I'm not there, and I start thinking about like, wait, what day is it? Is it Tuesday? Is it Thursday? Who's going live? What am I gonna see? So anyway, it's a lot of fun. So Hazel and Littleman. So Kiera is yeah, okay. So Kristin Welton is my girlfriend. Kiera Welton is her daughter. So have you put yeah, so Kiera Welton, you see her there. She's only a couple of things up in the chat. She's got 4 videos so far. She's got more that I need to produce, or I've got to help her learn how to produce. We all know the pains of video editing. Oh, there's Nightbot. There's my cousin. Who doesn't love Nightbot?
I just needed my
You know, so I don't know how much you know about Nightbot. You probably know more than I do, but I have that thing on, and I tried using it on one of the channels that I manage professionally. I tried using it the other day, and the guy's been starting to go live. He's out in where is he now? He's in Vietnam now, Thailand, this and that. He's out on vacation. He's doing these live streams on his phone, and so I'm just moderating from home. Not that you have to really babysit it or whatever, but I put Nightbot on, and the thing just started kicking everybody off. It started timing people out and everything, because what's happening is if a person has a username, like Liz Vlog here, for instance, right? So Liz is all capital letters. So just because somebody has capital letters name, Nightbot knocks them out for if somebody mentions them because you're using too many caps. And then you have people who have, yesterday the guy, I don't know what his nationality was, but his name is not English. Like, so in the chat, he had an accent over his A, and Spambot, bam, started knocking him out everything he said for symbols. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I'm going to have to tweak this thing. So I turned Nightbot off, and I had already set it on my own channel, but I just put it to do the thing, like, everybody please remember to subscribe. Let him say his thing every 30 minutes, because I'm going to forget. So now that I'm remembering, I'll ask everybody, if you don't mind, give me a like if you haven't already. Of course, I'd love it if you'd subscribed. But that's all I've got Nightbot doing. Once every half hour seems to be not too annoying. But I just want to put it on because, like I said, today I got to learn about this stuff, right? So, okay. I got to... One of the things I'm doing while I'm building my YouTube channel is I've got to be very wary about spam and about things that violate YouTube's terms of service, because I'm aggressively working at a handful of things. So I've got to be careful about what I let go through the chat. Not to mention, I don't want people to disappear, thinking that we're just joking around a little bit too much. So I'll just keep a small eye for a second. Forgive me, I'm just scanning the chat a little bit here. My friends are about to come out of timeout, so I'm just going to see what's going to happen there. These are the things like you have to see, right? Because like I said, it's not my first live stream ever, but it's my first live where I'm just sitting here because I want to know what it's like, right? I don't intend to do a lot of lives where I'm not doing anything productive, but I have to know because I want to go, I might even try on Monday going live, but I'll use StreamYard. Now what I didn't know today is that if you set up a live and you do it through the YouTube studio, you can't connect StreamYard and then use StreamYard for it. And my friend had the same problem where he set up lives on his phone, and then I wasn't able to go in and change the time when he wanted to change the time. So I think the way that this seems to be working is whatever system you've set it up on, you're kind of stuck sticking to that afterwards. So in order for me to do a StreamYard live, I've got to use StreamYard live to connect. So forgive me if I'm boring everybody, but I actually like this stuff. But I have to learn all this because, we all do. If we're going to do, live streaming, then we have to understand how all these things work. Connie, how are you? Thank you for coming by. All right.
Is this where we can have a party?
Well, for instance, but I'm not gonna hunt it anymore. I'm a little bit surprised, actually.
When someone says done to you, does that mean?
Okay, so what that is, so Liz is somebody who I've met, for instance, in the in a networking kind of capacity within a networking community, and so what you've seen what I've been doing with like adding people and hopping in live. So what happens is somebody will say, hey, do you want to connect? And they'll do that by either putting a heart, or they'll say want to meet, or like there's a lot of different ways of saying it. But when she says done to you, what she means is that she's been to your channel, she subscribed.
Oh, I did that to her.
Yeah, hopefully watched a video, left a meaningful comment, liked it, and she's expecting you to do the same. But this particular live stream especially is not meant as a networking stream. Everybody's absolutely welcome to network with each other if everybody wants to meet. And like I said, so Kristin is my girlfriend, Kiera is my stepdaughter, so you guys know already who you're subscribing to if you want to connect with them and see what we're all doing. And then Kristin has been watching more so what I've been doing lately when I've been on a couple of the growth networks. IC will find this funny, but actually Kristin and Kiera both know Verna's song. She said, let's get it, let's go. They will kind of like dance around when they hear her say it too, because I'm staring at the computer, they're not looking at it, but they just hear this happening like over and over, and it's kind of funny.
When
but
you're playing Uno.
Well, yeah, they'll be playing Uno, but then they'll hear what I'm listening to on the live from the other room or across the room, and so that's kind of funny. So Kristen's more so aware of what I've been doing, and Kiera, I intend to teach and learn, or we will, and okay, yeah. So well, Kristen's already doing it the way it's supposed to be done anyway, but yeah. So for everybody, feel free to reach out to each other for the purpose of connecting if you want to. That it's not the intention, and the only reason I say that is because not everybody who comes through the chat, like some of my personal friends have been here, which I'm a little bit surprised and thankful for, but they wouldn't know what we're talking about. If I might say something like I've been to your house and I left footprints there, or something like that, or show me love or something. And the rules on that are just getting out of control now. I've been back and forth on a handful of different people's lives, and the crunch is coming in on so many different symbols and things that we can't use. It's not hard to follow, but it's its own thing. IC's the one who's got to deal with this more than anybody, and because IC is a moderator who I've learned a lot from in the last long while. And actually, Kiera, going back to Nightbot, what I was saying, the first time that I saw Nightbot in a chat, I think I tried to time him out. Like I tried to block him. Because I was like, what is this language? What are you talking? Stop spamming, get out of here. Not understanding what that was, right? And then luckily I learned right away. I looked for it, but you got to learn this stuff. And it can be overwhelming. Sorry, what were you going to say, Kiera?
I said Mom and I should play Uno and they should hear how we play.
You could.
Only if you want to lose.
Let's go.
Publicly.
Let's go. Okay. I'm willing to take that challenge.
So, Kiera, just so I'm sure you're listening, but what I'm talking about. So see how IC has said Kiera with a heart?
Yeah.
She likely means that she has subscribed to you.
Oh.
She may have and probably has watched a video or will and leave a comment and like it and this and that. She's expecting you to do the same, for instance. Now, IC doesn't have videos right now, unless you put something up in the last day, but somebody's already mentioned it today. But IC is somebody who, she is almost always, I think she's always been in Verna's lives when I've been in them. And IC is one of the moderators who's kind of helped me understand a little bit about these rules and what is considered spam. Because there's certain combinations you can't put, like, actually somebody just did. So, Bayawan, if I've got that right, forgive me, I'm just going to knock your... comment out. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So these symbols, you can't put a heart and a pointing finger because YouTube knows what that is. The algorithm knows what we're all doing. That well, it's what they're doing is they're kind of saying, "Here, look, I hearted you," and it's against YouTube's rules and terms to be doing sub for sub, and that's what it looks like. So let me just get to. Forgive me, everybody.
Have a nice storage spot.
So, I see you might find this amusing too. So, somebody recently in a chat, I was moderating for somebody, and whatever it was that I exactly said, I think like my response to something that they did was the way we connect with people here is we leave a single emoji, and they know how to get back to us or something like that. Anyways, but the way that I worded it the person all of a sudden said to me, you know, Kevin, you're being really rude right now. Now, it's funny. They had gone to my channel and subscribed and watched the video and commented on it and liked it. They took all of it back, which is fine, like whatever, but they were accusing me of being rude. And I understand what happened. My guess is just because we don't have tone of voice, we're reading text. And if somebody doesn't like the way that you've worded something, it could certainly seem rude because you have to imagine tone of voice behind it. So what I've started doing, as you see what I just did with Biowan up there, is I said, please just use a single heart. Well, I meant to say heart, but I misspelled it, to connect with someone. And I said no pointing finger, but then I put LOL. So now, when I am doing the tiny amount of moderating, I am a moderator on a couple channels. Not that I have to moderate, but I have been made a moderator on their channels. When I have gone to their couple of, when I have gone, like, had to go through this on a couple of people's channels, I just put LOL at the end of every sentence, so that just in case somebody takes what I say in a negative tone, then they get over it. Not that it matters. I just don't like the idea of upsetting people, because certainly, like, you know, we're all dealing with language, and there's a lot of different people who have different dialects, a lot of people with different languages altogether. And just because I word something some way doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. But I think this little LOL or something like that will cover my own situation. Yeah, see, so, like, this is what I mean. Like, when I started, I wouldn't remember now what I would have done the first time I came across IC in particular. But, like, for instance, maybe on one of Ernest's lives, I was in there, and I would have started with, like, I used to use, like, a handshake. Some channels insist on a purple heart. Some channels don't want you using a purple heart. It's the opposite, because it's probably gotten too popular now and people are using it everywhere for this. The problem is, my guess is that the algorithm is able to spot people who are hardcore spammers. So my chat is nice and light right now. There's not a lot of people in here. But if there was 100 people, you can expect that there's some people in there that are not going to be listening even to what the person's saying. They're in there to grab as many subscribers as they can, and they're out, right? And if that's the case, they're not listening, they're not reading your messages or anything like that. But the problem is all their spam is getting through them. Now, I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just guessing. This is my imagination telling me this. But YouTube's algorithm then is going to say, oh, look at all these purple hearts and pointy fingers. Every time we find a sub for sub channel that we have to punish, they're doing a lot of this. Therefore, everybody that does a lot of this is probably spamming. I'm assuming that's how it works. Okay, so, and then the good thing is, so you see, luckily I put that LOL at the end of the sentence, and then this person comes back and says, okay, sorry host, haha, which is cool, because at least there's no way that could have been taken harshly. It may not have been taken funny, but at least it's not harsh, and that's all I'm worried about. And I see you're right, everyone is different. We hear things differently, we see things differently, and this is the problem. A lot of people, like, I mean, we've all been into text and email and all the social media things for long enough now that we see, you know, when you're just dealing with text, there's no tone.
It's just
Yeah, and it can be, exactly, Kristin's saying there's just interpretation. There absolutely only is, and the trouble with that is that words alone can at times not be enough. Oh yeah, like there's lots of people who don't listen. So I've also been hanging out a little bit in a couple of the real, like, the hardcore growth networks. Like, I've actually stayed out of some, but like the Crockett Way is one, so she's made me a mod, and Melda and Armra family is one that's made me a mod, and they don't have a lot of bad behavior that comes through, but we all get it. Like, I shouldn't say me, because I haven't got it yet, but, you know, even Vertus gets it, we both see that, and forgive me, I just go back to Vertus because that's where we see each other most often, but the, in the growth networks, people fly through there all the time, and, you know, I try not to get frustrated about it because I understand there's a lot of people who are new to this and they're just coming in. They just want their subs, and they're just, I can't expect them to listen to me for 2 seconds and understand what is happening. So, they come in, they fly out pretty quick, and I just try to grab the ones that I can and steer them in the right direction. But, like I said, I've seen channels that insist on a purple heart, and then I've seen other channels that are saying don't use the purple heart. So it's something else. So yeah, it makes sense that when you're saying it can be any color of heart, but there's things like now I notice, like even Vernus, if I'm right, the last time I was in there, doesn't want the heart and the handshake together, which is fine. That's something I've been using hardcore for a couple of months now, but I stopped. As soon as I saw somebody say we don't want that for the first time, and now there's these charts going around, and it might be from Vernus that I first heard about the chart. I can't remember because I heard about it all in one day. But apparently Cubs Den put out a chart of all the stuff that you're not supposed to do. Not all, but you know what I mean. And the Crockett Way got a hold of it, and she's got a version of it now. Somebody made her up one, I think, if I understand right. And now there's a couple of these you see here and there. Another girl that I hopped in on one of her lives a couple of times actually is Tatiana Monet. And she does some of the networking stuff. Not quite as hardcore as the others, but she does absolutely do it. And I can't remember if hers is the one that insisted they want purple hearts. But either way, when I'm out doing it, I try to mix up my symbols, try to mix up my messages a little bit. I've been at it long enough that I should be okay by now. Oh, there you go. Okay, it's up to the host. Yeah. So I try to be respectful of everybody's thing, 100%. As soon as I hear somebody with a rule, I try to use it. I noticed the other day when I was in Vern's thing, we were playing one of the games, and I kept on typing numbers. She was doing the card game. You remember? She was flipping the cards, and she was saying, okay, it's either red or it's black, and then we got to guess, what could it be? Is it a heart? And what is it? And I kept saying lucky 7, and I kept on putting the number 7. I went back and deleted a couple of my messages. So yeah, no handshakes. I was using handshakes like crazy. I was using heart and handshake, and I was telling people, when you're connecting with people, you don't have to get into this long speech. Don't say done. Don't say sub. Don't say been to your house. Just use a heart and a handshake. That's good enough. Now the problem is we're all off handshakes. So I've already sent, who knows, 10 people at least out using handshakes. Now I don't expect that they are. I'm just saying. It's funny. Yeah, I just, luckily, I started expanding and going into a few, like I said, these growth networks, but I scaled right back off of them. There's a few that I don't like. They're a little too wild for me, and I'm not really, all of this like sub for sub nonsense, it doesn't matter to me anyway, because while I started YouTube with professionally managing channels for somebody else, I use, their channels already, the watch time was there way before the subscribers, and the way that we built it has nothing to do with the things that I'm doing for my personal channel now. So I'm not worried about how fast I go or how fast I get to my 1,000. It doesn't matter. I get paid for all my YouTube work anyway. And eventually, yes, I'll build my own personal channel, but it'll be the channel that I care about the least, because I'll be working on either other people's stuff or other specific projects of my own. But yeah, I see you've helped me probably more than I remember in detail, but I remember showing up, and I see when you have to let other people know, and I remember the words. But, even I still forget. Like I said the other day, I was, typing lucky 7, and I was using the number 7. I had to take them out, and I have to remind myself, please, spell the words out. But it's not too bad that happens, so it's okay. So forgive me, I'm just scanning through the chat again here. So, maybe you'll forgive me, IC, but I didn't know how long I was going to go for today, but it looks like we're kind of winding down a little bit. So I just want you to know I really appreciate, especially all the time you've spent. I certainly, it's more than is necessary. I really appreciate it at all. Because like I said, today was just a low-key, go live, see what happens kind of thing, just because I got to get used to this stuff. And then I'm sure I'm going to see you before too long, whether it's with Furnace or anybody else. And I'm going to expect to start doing some more live stuff because I'm kind of practicing, if nothing else. I got to learn some of these systems. Yeah, it's great. You learn from others. Now you have it down. You're helping teach people like me. People like me will eventually be teaching more people as well. And hopefully that kind of thing can continue. And, you know, at least we'll keep a little bit of positivity going and keep the ones who are serious within the right boundaries so that they do well and they can grow fast and they're not going to get penalized and lose all their subs and things like that. You're right, people have to follow rules. I see a lot of people slip through, but you know, some are just going to come and go. They were never going to be here for a long time either. But if we can help as many people as we can, then they'll end up benefiting, and everybody in the community will end up benefiting from it being a little bit. So I see. Thank you very much. If anybody else has stuck around for a little while, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe. There's lots more to come while I do a lot of variety on my personal channel. You never know what to expect. And then if you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up. And if you'd like, come back and leave a comment. I'll try to make sure I leave the comments on. And, oh, you're modding while you're here. Thank you so much, IC. I really appreciate that. And then for everybody else, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. So, Kiera, thank you for being with me, even though I dominated the entire conversation the whole time. Kristin, thank you for being beside us and in the chat. And then we will see you the next time from KevinK.com. Good night, everybody.
Bye.